Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a short video on just some of the animation books that I've got. As you may know, I'm just trying to make my own animated films at the moment. I didn't study animation at university or anything like that. I was just sort of doing it for fun. But obviously I need some information and knowledge beforehand. So one of the best ways of doing that is obviously reading some animation books and animation textbooks that have been recommended, mostly online. So I've got some next to me right now, and I'm just going to talk through them and tell you what I thought of them and whether I'll recommend them to other people or whether I think they're useful for anybody who at least wants to understand how animated films are made better. The first book I've got is The Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like this. It's a pretty hefty book. There's a good 300, 400 pages here. This is the book that everybody usually recommends when they're talking about books that you should read to help understand animation, and I can see why. It's really simply written, so although there's a lot of pages, there's not actually a lot written on each page. See, for example, this one, on this chapter on walk cycles, most of it is just sort of example drawings and stuff, so it's not all complete text or anything. This basically goes through all the basics that you need to know about animation, especially mostly to do with movement, not so much character design. I would say a quarter of the book is based on how you do the standard walk cycle. So it talks about arcs and the use of limbs and how you can add personality, weight. It also talks about the 12 essential steps in animation. So squash and stretch, and you have anticipation, all this kind of thing. I need to revise those as well. I would say this is a really good starter book. Definitely, I would 100% recommend it. If you know absolutely nothing about how animated films are made. By the way, this is mostly 2D animation it's referring to, but if you actually have no idea how they're made, then this is a really good start, I would say. Well, it certainly gave me an insight into it. One thing I would say, though, I guess, is that it is quite technical. You have to really understand something before you move on to the next point. That's not so much because it's written in a difficult way or anything. It's not. But there's obviously a lot going on, and if you never knew what a keyframe was or something, then I would say this is it's a really good learning curve of a book, I think. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. I haven't actually finished the whole thing. There's a lot more stuff at the back to do with expressions and movement, actions, emotions. Oops. So walk cycles again. This cost me, it wasn't a lot actually. I think it was £20 from Amazon. It was on sale. Another book which I got the same time as I got that was this one called Anatomy of the Artist by Sarah Simblet. This is just a book basically full of life drawing pictures. So it's just got photographs of naked people basically, and skeletons and stuff. Yeah, it's also got muscle. Yeah, and it's got some comparison pictures and stuff as well. This is good, I think, especially if you're like me. Where I live, there's not a lot of areas where you can easily go to life drawing classes or anything. Obviously, if I searched, I could probably find them, but also they're quite expensive, and it's quite a trek to just go to one in the middle of town. So something like this is a really good starting point, because they've got really good photographs which you can use as a reference if you want to start doing more life drawing stuff. I actually applied to an animation course solely using pictures from this, which I probably shouldn't have done. That's why I didn't get into the course. But it's good if you want to just practice. If you just want to practice doing anatomical drawings without having to go to a school or paying lots of money or anything. So it's really good. It's got muscles and things. The idea of this is if you understand how the muscles work in a body or a character, it'll help you in trying to find the way that characters should move in a film. So I think this would be a really, really good basis for anybody who hasn't had a lot of live drawing experience, or maybe has, but they just want a good book as a reference to see where all like muscles go and things like that. Okay, this is the other book I've got. It's called The Illusion of Life, Disney Animation by Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnson, who were two of the 9 old men, the main group who kind of directed looks of the really well-known Disney films. So not actually Bambi and Snow White, you find out as you read this, more like Sleeping Beauty, The Rescuers, you know, The Fox and the Hound, Robin Hood, Jungle Book, all of those ones. This was quite expensive for me. Like I would say this was about £35, which I think is the most I've ever paid for a book ever off Amazon. Although it says on inside that it's meant to be $60. So anyway. This is really, really good actually. It's like if you're really interested in Disney animation and the history of how they developed their own style, this is really good because it literally goes through all the decades step by step. And you know, there's some really nice like commentary and some really nice behind the scenes kind of stories, and they've got some really, really good pictures. So I'd say just, even if you don't want to read it, get it for the pictures, because the pictures are really, they're beautiful basically. They're just like behind the scenes sketches of all the characters, you know, all this kind of, I don't know if you can see, all this kind of stuff. And the cover's really pretty cute as well. They do go on about Pinocchio quite a lot. Yeah, sorry if you can't see all the picture, it's because I'm using like a different camera again and I can't see myself in it, so I don't know what's actually on the screen. But how cute is this? As the sleeve, so I'll link all the books down below anyway. If you're really interested in 2D animation and just want a really good behind the scenes, I really, really recommend this book. Finally, the other animation book I got, which my dad got me, is How to Make Animated Films by Tom White. This is similar to the Richard Williams book in that it talks about walk cycles and blah blah. The thing about this actually, it's got a really good section on the back called filmmaking techniques. So if you're not really much of a film buff or anything, and you don't have a lot of experience in, you know, what certain things in films are called, it tells you, you know, okay, I know some of these are quite explanatory, but like what a close-up is, and you know how you do a pan, how you do extreme close-up, framing, transitions, cuts, which may seem really self-explanatory, but I think actually if you want to if you wanted to make a really good film, you kind of need to know the basics. So I think that's really good in this. It doesn't go into as much detail into action and movement as the Richard Williams book does, but it goes into things like colouring and you know, layout, and those things are like really, really useful. Also, it's got really funky example pictures. The Richard Williams one, the example pictures were mainly done by Richard Williams, whilst this is like, it's taken from, I think, students from where Tony White taught. Okay, so he was a teacher at Sheridan College in Canada. So that they've used kind of student examples, so you can kind of, maybe if you're looking into going into animation school, you can get an idea of the kind of standard that you need. Finally, just like a few extra random books I've got. This one's called Anime by Colin, Odell and Michel LeBlanc, not Matt LeBlanc. This is just like a book on the history of anime, basically, and it just lists the top 20 animes which you think you should watch. 80% which I haven't seen, actually. There's a lot of gibbery stuff in here, obviously, so it's 2D animation. I think it's just like a really nice summary. So it talks about some of the more classic series, like Cowboy Bebop, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is really, really good. So, you know, I read it and I think, okay, maybe I should probably like watch it. So it's like a really good reference point, I think, if you want to improve your knowledge on, you know, more kind of Japanese animation, i.e. anime. Finally, the standard, I've got this How to Draw Manga book, super basics. I'm sure anyone who's like tried to draw manga has probably bought one of these at some point. This is the super basics, but it's really good because it talks about like which pens you should use when you want to do manga, and how to draw like trees, for example, which like it's one of those, trees are one of those things which they aren't difficult to draw, but they're like a pain in the ass when you have to draw them because they never look right, I think, especially if you draw a lot, if you want to do like a forest or something. So this is really good because it summarises that. The really useful bit for me actually was like the shading section. So it talks about you know, how you like cross shade and stuff. You know, that kind of, when something dramatic happens like here, when something dramatic happens here, you know, in the manga they've got like a shaded bit in the corner, you think, well, that's random, but it adds like an effect. It shows you how to do that. So that's actually really useful. So yeah, I would actually really recommend this. This was really cheap from Amazon. It was like £6, you know. Finally, like, if you've got no money, you can't afford any of these books, blah blah, I think this is probably the best bargain animation book I've got. This was literally like $3.99, right? And it's by Preston Blair. He's part of a famous animated group. I can't remember, not Disney. I think it might have been like Warner Brothers. I'll double check. But he has written this kind of book, and this book's really old, right? But it's like, if you want to draw kind of cartoon animals, it's so good. So it goes through like the shapes. The book starts off with just like the basics, you know, the whole egg shape thing about how you build up a character. And it's so good because it literally does everything step by step. Things like action lines that, you know, they should be curved, all this kind of thing. It's filled with so much stuff. I really recommend this. I think this is actually almost the best one out of all of them because although the other ones talk a lot about technical aspects, if you just wanted to do like straightforward character design, this one explains it the best. And also I like the fact that it's like really big and like the pictures are really clear. So yeah, and it goes through expressions. See, this is all it does on the walk cycle. Lots of example stuff. So yeah, like I really recommend this. This is probably my favourite one out of all of them. All the stuff I've got. I hope that was helpful to anyone who wants to just get some more information on what they should read. And obviously this is just my opinion, what I think of them. I think in general, my favourites are probably the Preston Blair book, and the Disney book is really special actually. Like, I'm really enjoying reading it so far. I'm just reading it like a novel. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!